Welcome to the inferno of the hell that is Portland in July.
I don't know what the temperature is right at this exact moment, but the high for today is like 102. And so we're grumpy. And also there's background noise because there's no way that we're recording without 800 fans on.
When the sweat just drips, just slow, like, kinda gotta just let it.
I like set up to record and then I have to sit in front of the fan for like 15 minutes so that I'm not like literally dripping with beads of sweat.
Yeah!
Are you knitting with wool?
I am.
I'm knitting with wool and mohair.
Yeah, yay! And here's the thing, maybe unpopular opinion, I knit with wool year round. So do you.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's, when I hear folks that are like, they prefer not to, like, oh, I only knit in the winter time or the fall. That's valid. But I'm gonna say also that, yeah, it's valid. I was about to say,
Today it feels valid.
Today it feels really valid.
Even though I'm still knitting with wool and silk and mohair.
Yours is the fuzziest wool too. Your hands have gotta be like sweating. Oh jeez.
I'm like only happy if I am in direct line of a fan.
Yeah.
And then the second I step out, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Why is it so hot?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not built for this. We're not built. Like literally, Portland is not built for this. Like no one has AC.
No. They just shut down restaurants if they're like, sorry, it's too hot.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. That makes sense. Anyway.
So that's what's happening here. That's like all we can think and talk about.
That's it. It's craft on. So the entire episode is going to be about just heat.
And bitching and moaning.
Hot heat. Hot heat.
I like that band.
Who?
Hot Heat.
Oh, I like pitching and moaning? Like, nah.
No, I loved Hot Heat in like 7th and 8th grade.
I don't know who they are.
They're a Canadian band.
Oh, cool. What are you working on?
I was going to ask you.
No, I asked first.
I asked you.
I asked first.
So I'm knitting the second sock of my Christmas Eve cast on. So at Christmas time, my mom, Yaya, and I, and Kay went to a house at Rockaway Beach, which is on the coast in Oregon. We stayed at this really cool place called the Bird's Nest that like had a beautiful view. And I was finishing, oh my god, don't put that on your foot right now. It's so cold. I mean hot.
It's freezing. This is really warm though.
Yeah.
It's really nice for like a slipper.
Yeah. And so I was like finishing up my Advent self-striping sock, so I knew I was gonna like be finished with it and then I would want to start something for myself. And I was like, I need something special. And so I was like, oh, I'll grab that skein of hand spun and I'll knit my hand spun socks, which I've been wanting to do. And I thought it would be fun to hold it double with silk mohair. And it sort of was.
What size needle did you use on that?
So that's the thing, is I was knitting that pair of socks on a US 1, which is my typical sock needle size. And I was like, oh great, well I'm going from one sock to the other, so I'll just keep that. And so I didn't have any other needles with me. So I cast on with a 1 and I was like, oh, this is a little tight, but I like was determined. And so I just knit it. And so I think if I had not held a double with the mohair, it would have been way better.
Yeah.
But at that point it was like, that was the only option and I really wanted to do it. And then I just knit the whole sock in like 2 days because it's like only 50 each. Yeah. So I think like in hindsight I would have done it different.
Yeah.
And then when I cast on the second one, I was like, this is terrible. I was like, I don't really enjoy knitting this.
Does it hurt your hands?
It's hurting my hands, and I actually am finding, you know, we've talked about this, I'm more of a continental knitter.
Yeah.
But I've been knitting it English style. and flicking because it just, I don't know, something about it is like easier on my hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. I picked this up. It was like just a little bit of the way down the cuff, but I'm like, I want to finish these socks.
Yeah.
I just want them to be done. And so I was sort of like alternating between projects. Like I was like, I'll knit a row of this, and then I'll knit a row of that. And then I did get into the groove, and now it's not so bad.
Good.
So I feel like I'll have this done by the next time we record.
Do you find when you finish a sock, do you have to cast on immediately the second one?
I think I like to just to keep the momentum
It's the momentum,
going.
yeah.
But a lot of times I'll finish one sock and then knit the cuff and then kind of leave it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine. I usually do finish my socks. So it doesn't like worry me not to.
I get worried that I'm not going to cast on the next one. That's how I feel about sleeves too. I'll be like, oh, I finished one. Good, now I'm done. No, you're not.
How are your socks going?
They're going fine. They're in the bottom. It's just taking so long.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I love the way they're turning out. It's just taking a long time. I don't have a big foot. It's like a men's size 9.
Yeah, I feel like our sock size is actually not very different.
Yeah. I mean, I tried that on and it fit just perfectly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm looking forward to being done them. They're in time out for the moment because I saw someone had made a sample of the sideline wrap at Starlight. It was beautiful. And I was like, do I need to make one? And then I thought about my muses for a minute. I was like, Emily Hogan would wear a sideline wrap and work it, and we just happened to be on the phone. And I knew it was one skein of dyed-in-the-wool spin cycle, and then just a skein of fingering weight. And I was like, oh, I could just.
Yeah, you definitely don't have any spin cycle or fingering weight in your stash.
I have no stash. I have no yarn to work with. So I was just like, I pulled a stash yarn, spin cycle one, and I was like, oh, this is really good. It's a Truth Bomb-ish tint that I really liked for some reason, because Truth Bomb isn't typically my favorite. It's really kind of all over the place, which Truth Bomb I will say is the youngest as a color. I'm going to say it is. It's a little chaotic, and for some reason I didn't gravitate toward it. But this ish tint it's really giving.
It doesn't look like an ish tint.
I know.
It just looks like Truth Bomb.
It's because there was so much blue in it, and there's so much blue on this. But the blue is
the blue is really good.
So pretty. So then I just pulled a skein from my stash, and I said, Emily, which one? And she's like, I love the purple. And this is Imperial yarn.
Oh yeah.
They're in Oregon.
That's like a throwback.
Yeah, it's in Oregon. I think they've closed. They were in near Pineville.
It's like Imperial Ranch, right?
Yeah.
They were one of the first ones that had that like unspun roving.
Yeah, the like almost pencil roving.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I got this skein somewhere.
Oh, does it feel good to use your stash?
It does. It feels really nice. And this pattern, I'll say, is lovely. It goes so fast. It's really quick. And it looks really cute when it's finished. The way that Emily's going to style it, I know is going to be really good. And I may already make another one because I think it's fun. This has been like just a couple days. And they are doing a knit along right now for all of July. Not that I'm probably not going to like participate or whatever. I'll just send them photos or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty much fun. And then the other thing I'm doing is this crochet monstrosity. It's cotton. Look at this leftover Eddie Bauer. I finished that sweater, and here's a picture of it done on my friend Taka. I ended up giving it away because it fit him perfectly, and he's a great person. So that part, and now I'm making a dish towel crocheted into the front loop.
I mean, this is a great like base yarn to have around.
Mm-hmm.
A thin, natural,
like thin cotton.
Yes.
Do another. I don't know. I'm talking a lot, but this I like holding it together because I like this cantaloupe color.
My favorite thing ever is that making a podcast and you're like, I don't know, I'm talking a lot.
I'm talking like so much. I just sit here quietly.
I'm like, hello. You're like, I was talking too much. And I'm like, you're a podcast host.
What are you working on? Nothing. I'm working on being silent.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So the heat.
So the heat. How have you been enjoying Love Island?
Previously on Love Island.
Tonight.
And they're like, and then there's just a host of like half-naked bodies, people saying, and then. I'm like, where's the fast-forward feature on this? Just tell me who ends up together.
Yeah, we're in Casa Amor right now.
It's the most stressful part of the show, I think. I think it's so.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, all of my stereotypes about straight relationships are just confirmed. It's just a freaking nightmare.
It's a nightmare, and they just like, oh, it's okay because I'm exploring. Whatever happened to good old? Never mind.
That was a boomer moment.
It was a boomer
moment. Just like
all of a boomer moment.
Burst out of you.
I'm part boomer. I'm part boomer.
You are literally not.
I'm part. I think everyone. This is maybe unpopular, but if we're knitting, we are part boomer. Yeah, Love Island's crazy. I started a show last night called Geek Girl. It's on Netflix.
I saw it. Is it
Girl.
bad?
Here's the thing, it's very pick-me. It's very like, I don't want to be a model, but I like, they discovered me. I don't know, it's fine. It's very like, I love a like, not high school, yeah, like a high school like drama, something's going on and I don't have to pay attention, but there's sufficient drama driving it. There's like Australian ones that I like to watch, and some British ones, but this one, yeah, it like scratches that itch.
Well, last night I watched this movie with my mom. It had Emma Roberts in it, and it was called Space Cadet. I literally can't recommend it. I cannot recommend it.
I was going to say, out of 10, are we giving it like a 2?
I think 2 might be generous.
Wow. Did your mom like it?
We were all entertained. So
Yeah.
maybe it gets like a 5.
Okay.
But there was like a long, like CGI in space astronaut scene. And I was like, why did they spend this much money on this show? On this movie? What? Why? Why?
When was it released? A couple of years ago?
This year! It's like a new Amazon original or something. I was just like, what? And the guy from Umbrella Academy, the monkey guy. I can't remember his name. He's British.
Wait, he's like the servant guy?
No. The actual guy who like has like monkey DNA.
Oh, yeah.
He's like the love interest.
Okay.
Gabrielle Union is in it.
So there's a good cast.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
They
and
got
her
paid.
Do you know what her friend was like? No, okay. It had some redeeming qualities. I'd give it a 5.
Okay. 5's not terrible.
No.
It's famously
If I had
somewhere
like a
between 1 and
12-year-old daughter, I would be like, this is funny, we could watch this together.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like a family moment. Famously what you had with your mother. It was a mother-daughter moment.
My mom was like, I really want to watch a movie. And I was like, look, we have to go grocery shopping. We need to get like stuff for breakfast. And she goes, I have eggs in my fridge. I will give them to you so that you will stay and watch this movie with me.
Oh, that's
And I was
cute.
like, okay.
You're like, the actual
Heard.
truth is I need to go home and watch Love Island. Well,
I said that to Kay on the way home.
you're like, can we just...
I was like, but we have enough time to watch Love Island before bed though, right? Because
Yes.
that's really what I was worried about.
Absolutely.
And we stopped at Wendy's and got Frosties on the way home, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We just had a popsicle, and popsicles are so good.
It
I
kinda
forgot about
hit.
popsicles. I forgot about them.
I like that brand in particular. I like
Yeah.
when it's very sour.
Yes,
like
me
that's,
too.
That's what it is.
I don't like things like chunks in my, like chunks of fruit.
Oh, no.
Especially strawberry.
No.
That is not.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like anything with the consistency of phlegm.
No.
That's
No. That's
not good.
Disgusting.
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 Cancelled. Immediately we're cancelled. Where are you from? Edinburgh. Who is that?
I literally don't think
10,
people from Edinburgh say it like that.
No, they don't. I'm sure. Edinburgh. Leave. Leave.
I have to show you a TikTok that is related to Love Island. It's this guy, and he's cracking up, okay? He's like laughing so hard you can barely understand him. And he has a Glaswegian accent.
I love it.
And he's like, we have had plumbers around the house, and they think that my roommate, who is English, is the owner of the house. So they keep talking to him, and then he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he comes into the room and he goes, what did they just say? And then he's like cracking up. And it was, and then so then it cuts and it actually shows him from the other room recording. You can't, I'm like, are they speaking English? Is the English in the room with us? Because it's like, like marbles in the mouth. It was so funny. I was like, yeah, this is basically what Love Island feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
Like with Nicole and Kieran.
I know, the Welsh accent's so sweet.
She talks so fast and I'm like, girl, what?
I know.
Girl, what?
I love when they put subtitles under it.
Yeah.
Like, we know this is a bit challenging for you. Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I forgot to say in the last episode that I got this box. It's such a good box. Tatiana's husband Guillaume made it. Maybe I did say it. No, I don't think I did.
I don't think you did.
It's such a good, it's maple. Hi.
Oh
Hi,
my
maple.
god, look at her eyes. Like,
She's like,
zombie eye. I will take a picture to insert it because she is
it's
dead to the
with
world.
maple.
She's dead to the world. Oh my god, that's...
These are maple. He had a bunch of boxes that he made, and they had them for sale. And there's like magnets inside, so all your like metal stitch markers and your tapestry needles, they just like stuck to it. And I'm keeping my stitch markers in there. It's great. It's a good one. His name's Guillaume. I think you can probably find
they
them.
sell them on Tumalo Fiber's website.
I think so too.
Yeah, they're really beautiful boxes.
He had his little card in there, and I forgot what I said, but it was like maybe Frenchman knit or Frenchman something or other woodworking. It was good. So check them out.
Yeah.
Knitting eggs.
Oh my god, we forgot about the winner. You guys, we've been saying for like 2 days, we're like, do not forget to talk about the winner of the giveaway. And so God, 2 episodes ago, we were gonna do a giveaway of some of our new shirts, and we said there would be 1 winner, but we've decided to actually make it be 3 winners. That's how you say that.
To make it be 3 winners. We've decided to make
that there are going to be 3 winners.
We're going to make it be 3 winners.
2 of which are going to be decided from a random comment generator, which we have already done. And then the other one, so we made fun of our friend Phil in that episode for knitting Portuguese or purling Portuguese at knit night. And then we saw him at Black Sheep, and I was like, did you like watch the episode? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh.
Sorry.
I know. And so, but he was such a good sport about it. He left a very funny comment and was like, called us out just in the way that we like to be. So Phil, next time we see you, give us your shirt size and tell us what shirt you want from the collection, and we'll get one sent to you. And then the other 2 random comments.
Drum roll, please.
The first one is STB89. Actually working on the sleeves of an M sweater. I had been putting off the tubular bind off for the front and back panels for forever because I just didn't have the mental energy for it. Very real. But I'm glad I did it. Happy to finish this sweater up. Yours looks great. Thank you. So that's STB89.
Oh, yeah.
So I will reply to your comment on that episode, but send an email to info@mtothethirdyarn.com and I will get you all sorted. And then the second winner is Alana7782. Knitting a lace eater shawl full of cables and lace. Not even sure how to categorize that. Maybe only, maybe weird ant, another delightful podcast.
Gotta be a weird ant. Sorry. I love the weird ant part.
So thank you, Alana. Also,
Yes.
please send an email to info@mtothethirdyarn.com and we'll figure out what to get you. So thanks you guys for all the comments. That was so fun.
Yes, it was.
And thanks for everyone who's ordered a shirt. You are funding a very fun trip that we have coming up. It's a secret still. And you're also helping to fund, hopefully buying new microphones so that
You can hear us.
so
better.
that, yeah, it sounds better. So those are some like goals that we have in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering if you wanted to talk about knitting icks.
Oh my god. Yes.
You're like yes and also no.
Yes and also no. I mean, there are some icks. I just told my friend this. If you get the ick, run away quick. It was about a boy that she had gone on a date with and gone on 2 dates with, and she's like, I don't know what's going on with him. And I was like, ooh,
Trust your gut.
trust your gut. If you get the ick, run away quick. And she was like, oh, that's a good idea. How do I do that? Anyway, I don't know, figure it out. But
You're like, that's not my problem. I'm just here to give you advice.
I love you so much, and I will help you with that, but also just run away. Run away to save your life. Knitting icks. What do you have for a knitting ick?
Okay, this is my knitting ick. I have thought about it long enough.
Okay.
I don't like when people who have been knitting for a long time make people who are newer knitters, like, I don't like when they start telling war stories. Like, I've been knitting for quite a while. Like, I've been knitting for over half of my life, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here like, but you didn't live through the eyelash yarn fad. Like, you can't complain because
You don't remember
didn't.
skinny scarves. Well,
Yeah, you know, I don't think that is
So
conducive to
Community.
any community, period.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I love about being in knitting community is that it is very intergenerational
Yeah.
in a way that, like, a lot of other spaces that I have been in are not. And when you do that, you're isolating newer knitters and you're telling them that they don't belong in the community.
That attitude in general is really annoying. Oh, you don't remember the 80s band that I loved? Oh my god, you never saw that one film that oh my god, you're so young.
You learned about
What
Kate
is
Bush
that?
from Stranger Things.
Uh-huh. The important thing is you learned about Kate Bush. Congratulations.
Yeah, I just don't, that's always given me the ick.
Yeah.
And like, I do hear it on occasion in knitting circles, and I try to gently shut it down.
Yeah.
But I think it's something to be aware of, because I just, it doesn't feel...
It's haughtiness and it's like hierarchy.
Yes. And I don't think anyone has authority over the space
Right.
in that particular sense.
Right. And when you start feeling that, I run away from, again, when you start feeling the ick,
Get away
run
quick.
away quick. And that is, I remove myself from that space if I can. If I can't shut it down like that, if it's not my, like, assigned area. I think I do have a knitting ick.
What's your knitting ick?
For me, it's the video that I get sent of the Crocs. I know that you really, it is funny, and I love that people who know me, I love knitting and I love crafting, and there's like a clever video that someone comes up with, like, best use for Crocs ever, and I was like, well, actually, my favorite use for Crocs is to go in the water so I don't feel a crab bite my foot. But that's just a personal whatever. but the like putting the needle through the crock holes with your yarn on it, it's very funny the first time I saw it, and I was like, oh, that is kind of clever. The second time it was okay. The third time I was like, okay, unfollow. No, I'm just kidding. But
I sort of think like any viral like knitting adjacent video gives me the ick, because there was also for a while people sending videos of people knitting noodles with chopsticks.
I know.
That, like, I hear the squeak of the wood on wood.
You feel the slime too,
Oh my
though?
God.
Like the slime of the
Like
noodle
wet
is like,
wood rubbing against each other.
you don't need that. It's biting. It's giving biting on popsicle sticks. Oh, yeah. Oh, ah. Yikes. That's gnarly.
Yeah. That was not meant to be an innuendo.
But it is like,
Yeah, so any of those things I sort of like they just give me the ick.
Wait, there was
it's just
another one with
clickbait.
Crocs.
Yeah, the one where they pulled all of the strands through the holes of the Crocs. Literally just to be annoying.
Just so gross.
And it worked because everyone was like, ew, look at this. And I was like, no, I don't want to.
I don't want my project
It's too
anywhere
hot
near my
to see.
feet unless I'm maybe making socks to try them on. But I don't need my yarn to be going through my shoes. I think
It
that's
bothers me.
funny and quirky, and definitely, I'm going to say this, it is only child energy. Sorry.
I think it's youngest because it is chaotic. And you're trying to push buttons.
You're okay to be wrong. You're allowed to be wrong. I'm going to say yours, your ick. Actually, now my ick too, because that is really, really obnoxious. That's oldest.
Like the behavior is oldest?
The behavior is oldest.
I
It's
agree
like,
with that.
I knew that I was first. You don't even know the way mom and dad disciplined me. You got it easy. I do also honor that because, like, from what I hear from my older siblings, I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're right. You're right. Sorry? I don't know. Sorry you had to go through that?
Oh
But
my God.
no, it's funny. I just hung out with my cousin who I had not seen in, I don't know, 20 years, maybe 15. And we got talking about, she's like smack in the middle of 8 children.
Whoa!
Yeah. And grew up with a bunch of brothers, just like rough and tumble. And 2 sisters, but like, yeah, just really like rough and tumble, and has grown so much and like changed a lot. And we talked about some memories and stuff, but I look back through the energies of each of the cousins that I had on that side, and I'm like, wow, I don't even know if I could categorize it, because it was almost survival mode sometimes. It was just like, no, I just have to get to be heard. I need to like speak up or be loud or whatever. Anyway, that's not a knitting ick. We can go back.
Well, have you seen the movie Tortilla Soup?
No.
So we were trying to find like a food related movie to watch. I don't remember why this happened, but this was on Saturday night. My mom was over and I made one of my favorite summer dishes, which is lemon zucchini risotto.
Ragut. Ragut. There, you got the ragut? I'm sorry, mozzarella.
I was going to say ricotta, but I meant risotto.
I got you.
And so we were like just talking about food, and we were like, what's a good movie that has just like food scenes? And we were talking about Julie and Julia, which I really love that movie, but it actually wasn't streaming anywhere. And then we were looking at, I can't totally remember the name of this movie, but it's like the 100-Foot Journey. Do you know this movie? It takes place in France, and it's like an Indian family.
Yes, with the 2 homes. There's like a restaurant across the street or something.
Yeah.
God, that was good.
That was a good movie. So we were like talking about that one, but then we were like looking, and I was like, what about Tortilla Soup? And we hadn't watched it, and it's 3 daughters. Okay. And they are absolutely oldest, middle, youngest. Like, there's a single dad, but they're all older. They're like out of high school, but they all live at home. And the silver plate. Is that what they're called? Silver plate, like the 80s, 90s, like food place in LA that my family is obsessed with.
I don't know.
Did all of the staging for the food, and they were cooking like Mexican food, like unbelievable. Like putting all of the veggies in like the charcoal to char them, and then putting them in a molcajete.
I'm hungry.
And then like smashing it up, and we were just all
Somebody
like,
make me a mole.
and like a whole fish like on the barbecue with like the seasoning, and it's such a sweet movie. It's like really, it's really, really
soup?
good. Yes, because they like kind of come together around food.
Yeah.
And so we watched that, and I just was like cracking up at the sibling dynamics, because the oldest sister is like very religious.
Sure.
And then the middle sister is like a very hardworking, go-getter, like financial businesswoman. And then the youngest one is just like lost and like fucking everything up. And it's so good. Yeah, I was like, Tim needs to watch this.
Tortilla soup. I'll do that. Yes.
It was on Freebie too, so it's like a free.
Freebie.
Is that the logo?
It is. It goes Freebie. I love it.
So yeah, it was very, very.
I'll watch that.
It was very good.
When was it made?
I think like 2001.
Oh, snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah, and I can't remember his name, but the dad in it is the driver from Princess Diaries, Hector Elizondo, Hector, that guy.
Yes. I remember him
So
from
that's
Princess
the dad.
Diaries.
Yep. But yes, anyway.
Oh,
Would recommend.
10 out of 10 would recommend. It's a very gentle ick of mine. Maybe what would it be called? A jick? A gentle ick, if you will. Well, I'll say my first one, and then I'll go back to that. When people interrupt you while you're counting, that's youngest behavior. And I will say that as a youngest, stop it. Stop doing that. It's not funny, it's not cute. I am counting my stitches. They'll be like 17, 18, 19, 20. Stop. I'm really just trying to do something.
But it is funny when I do it.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I think my real ick is announcing or making a big deal out of a vintage pattern. I'm knitting this vintage pattern. It's like, good luck with that, because also in 1941 men wore vests up to here, and unless you're Harry Styles and you're in concert, you're not wearing a high-waisted pant, right? And a loafer. It looks good. I will admit that, like, revival of 1940s kind of vibe. But for real, there's like 10 people out of the world who will probably wear that successfully. And I don't know that it's like needed. But look at this 1980s pattern. I did see a 1980s pattern that's like really, it's fun and it's cool. I just probably won't make it. I don't want to go through the hassle of like, oh, but I have to do all these mods on the sleeve because they famously love a giant sleeve, and then I'm like, so I don't need a balloon sleeve with it. The 1940s, like barrel curl, whatever, like that whole vibe from like 2009, 2010 that came back is fine. I'm not like, no shade, but it's the like the only of it all when it's like holding court because I made
twee.
Yes, it's indie twee. It's a little bit pick me. I love a genuinely love a sweater that someone makes. Again, overall, you made it with your hands, with stick and string. Cool. However, that's just sometimes my little ick. It's just a little ick. But I'm
You're
like,
allowed to have that.
I'm allowed to have an ick. I guess
Yeah.
I don't have to apologize for it. What's yours? Next.
When I started working at yarn stores, there was not a very wide size range. On sewing patterns, definitely. There was more of a size range on knitting patterns. and I was a different size when I was 10 years ago.
Sure.
And that wasn't really a huge issue, except I almost didn't have any sewing patterns. And I was not quiet about this.
Yeah.
Like, I would pretty frequently bring it up and was totally brushed off and disregarded. So then when like the reckoning happened in the knitting world, like 2020-ish, maybe a little before then, 2018,
Sure. Yep.
and people started talking about size inclusivity, I was just sort of like, yeah, I've been saying this, and that gave me the ick of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I had like had conversations with people who were like, yeah, like I'll get to it.
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, I in particular had one friend explicitly reach out to me and apologize, which was really heartwarming.
Yeah.
But it was also one person. You know, and then, you know, there are certain people who became sort of like the head of that size inclusivity movement, and now I feel like as a society on a whole, we've regressed from like body positivity, and now we're like in the Ozempic era.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just tough being a fat lady. And
Well, it's what you're saying to someone
Yeah.
when you go up to a bust size like 50,
yeah,
is that you can't make this pattern. Or you're gonna have to do the work. You have to be a grader,
yeah,
and you have to grade this whole pattern just for your body. So that it makes you feel like less than and gross. And yeah, it's not hard to like fuss. I say this. It's not hard to tech edit and grade. That's false, but it is about inclusivity and wanting people. You want your people to make your clothes? Do the work.
yeah. And I think that's the thing, is by not doing the work, you are saying you don't want bigger people
Yeah.
in the clothes.
It's by omission.
yeah.
It's like yeah.
And I think people just don't, like, if you have thin body privilege, then you don't understand, actually, the way in which society looks down on bigger people, the way at which, like, stores imply that you are not worthy. Like, you know, I remember when Kay and I started dating, and I was just like, they're like, you want to walk through Urban Outfitters? And I was like, yeah, I don't fit in any of the clothes. Like, there's not one thing that will fit me except maybe like a headscarf.
Right.
You know? And people just literally do not realize that.
Yeah.
And again, like, I'm a bigger size than I was then.
Right.
And that's still the case. So, yeah, I guess that's like that's not really a knitting ick, that's just
It's a general ick. Yeah. It's
just a
gross.
constant, but I think in particular when just to be mindful of being like, well, this pattern isn't size inclusive. Okay, like, I don't know. And you still have privilege if you're able to knit it. And so just like mindfulness around that, I think, is lacking
Yeah.
a lot of the time. Yeah.
That is true. And it's like thinking about other people, and that generally doesn't happen. It's going shopping with friends of mine who are like, I don't want to go there because they don't have my size anywhere.
Yeah.
And so when I find somewhere that we can both shop at, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Because then we get to like kiki and shop for each other and like, yeah.
Well, that's my rant for the day.
Perfect. Perfection.
Yay.
So Renee from Crow and Crescent suggested, first of all, she's badass. Her yarn is beautiful. Go check it out now. It's so good.
And also, she loves
Old
the
aesthetic.
podcast.
And she loves the podcast.
Hi.
And we just think she's great. And she'll be with us she'll be at the Starlight booth. I think we're going to have some of her stuff at
Flock.
Flock in Seattle in August. So check that out. But she made a comment or sent me a message or a DM or something. She wanted the sibling energy of types of yarn, aka merino, mohair, or indie dyed versus box yarn, or dyed types like speckled versus self-striping, which I think all of those are great.
Yeah.
Self-striping is oldest. Self-striping is oldest because it's very organized. It is, self-striping yarn is the Excel spreadsheet of yarn.
It looks very fancy, even though
it did all the work for you.
Yeah.
It's like, great.
It's very organized and efficient.
Yep.
But it still looks impressive.
Absolutely. What do you think about speckled yarn?
Speckles, like we're talking hedgehog.
Hedgehog, some La Bien, some Republic of Wool. I love
Republic
Michelle.
of Wool. Youngest.
Yeah. It's chaos. I love, oh my gosh, Republic of Wool had this color called Cowgirl something. Oh. I think you have a skein of it.
Probably.
It's just so pretty, but the speckles were like...
her speckling is...
like no one else.
Like no one else, yeah.
An icon of the world.
We miss you, Michelle.
We do. And we're also so happy that you're living your dream. Electricity. Yeah, youngest. I agree.
What about, like, a Lion Brand Woolies from Michaels?
Woolies is acrylic and wool, yeah.
Yeah, mostly acrylic.
I think it's middle, because it's a little bit of both. It's like, it's going to balance everything out. You can have wool and acrylic. Why not? You can have both. What about variegated?
Just like monos?
Monos, just variegated colors. There's no speckles on it. It's just like...
I mean, I personally love that kind of yarn because I feel like it's such a workhorse.
Yeah.
Like it just like works for a lot of things and it's super wash.
Yep.
But maybe it's a little underrated.
So, it would be...
Middle. You want to say middle? I kind of feel like it might be... Yeah.
I think it's middle.
Because I like what someone said that it's like overlooked, but a really good option.
Mm-hmm.
I think that tracks.
I'm going to say it's a middle with youngest tendencies.
Okay.
Because the variegation can be like, wow.
So like they were youngest and then their mom remarried and had another baby.
So they became middle.
Yeah, and they were like, what the hell?
I think actually that's accurate. That is accurate. Mohair?
Mohair silk?
Mohair silk is only as hell. Mohair silk is only as hell.
But it's also like luxe. Like people are like, it makes everything luxe. Only?
I think it's only.
Maybe it's an only.
Onlys are luxe.
And then.
See?
Parents divorced, remarried, and now they're the youngest.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Mohair silk.
What do you think
Sorry
about that?
about
Or
that.
oldest. Oh, maybe that's
Maybe
it.
it's
They were in
oldest.
only,
Yeah.
and then their parents got remarried, and now.
Siblings.
Or their dad remarried and they're oldest in that line, and their mom remarried and they're youngest in that line.
What?
So it depends on the house, depends on the day.
2 houses. 2.
Right?
Yeah, 2
Experiences. I don't know.
Mohair silk. Yeah. Superwash. Superwash is very oldest to me.
Because it's utilitarian.
It's utilitarian. It's like, let me scrub those, scour those barbs off for you so they don't felt. It's practical.
We just have to wash all the socks in one go.
That's all. That's it. Oh,
It
throw
doesn't
some
matter.
nylon in.
Doesn't matter if it's speckled, doesn't matter if it's tonal, doesn't matter if it's undyed.
Ooh, tonal. I love tonal.
Middle.
Jeez, so tonal. So middle. It's so middle. Haley Bailey does a tonal that absolutely slays the house down. Boots mama. It is so good. And
Also, I like deeply offended Haley Bailey.
sorry,
Last
Haley.
episode. I mean, sorry, not sorry. Like,
Sorry, not sorry. Making your sheep camp in a Haley Bailey yard. Offense her.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I am sorry, but also, will you be on as an only representative? We've talked about it.
Haley Bailey.
Haley Bailey. What about? Well, let me do this. What do you think is an only yarn? What type of yarn would you be like, that is an only child?
Well, I'm going to say spin cycle because every color is literally the only one. It's like there's no two that are the same. Unless it's like verses or trine or like some of their other bases that are just like
Sure, but like dyed in the
But
wool,
dyed in the
dream
wool?
state.
plump. They're all only children. They're all only children. And I am here for it. I want every one of those children. You can edit that out. Go ahead and edit that out. That's nope.
No,
We
I'm
don't do
leaving that in. I'm absolutely
No!
leaving that in.
I have no children. And I'm like, I want every one of those kids.
That's a good one.
Let's bring in eyelash yarn. Go ahead. We can go there.
I have never knit with eyelash yarn.
Wow, you never went through the. Well, let me tell you about eyelash yarn. Wow, you didn't go through that. You didn't understand that.
When I think of eyelash yarn, I think of Lizzie McGuire.
I think of Miley Cyrus. 'Cause you got that best of both worlds.
So oldest.
Yeah, oldest. God, those skinny scarves.
They're just really trying to be quirky. They're
It's the
trying
truth.
so hard.
It's the truth.
But they're just on trend.
Yeah. Cotton?
Cotton yarn?
Cotton yarn?
Like for dishcloths or like for a
Cotton
slinky
yarn.
little tee?
Cotton yarn.
Cotton yarn.
She hurts my hands so much. Just like.
I don't know. I can't decide.
Maybe you should comment what you think cotton yarn is.
Yeah.
Sibling Energy. Because
Yeah.
we need help deciding.
I think that's a good idea. Because I don't know. I can't decide.
I don't know either, because linen then. Like you have your
Linen.
natural like plant fibers.
Linen might be an only. Might be an unschooled
I
only.
love linen, and knitting with it is awful, but it's so pretty.
But they get better over time.
I know. It's true. You wash her up a little bit. It's
She
just
gets
like,
nice and
she gets
soft.
nice and soft. That's true. I think that's a good one. Onlys.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm alright with that
Not
too.
great for every application and
No.
use, but really, they really thrive when they're in the right environment.
I agree. I agree.
Tell me what your knitting drag name would be.
Oh my god.
If you were a drag queen, what would your name be?
Much respect to drag queens.
Yeah.
I would never do it. It's too hard. It's too.
It's hard.
It's performance. I quit acting when I was, whatever, 26 and haven't looked back. Or just kidding, I did some acting in grad school. But it was fine. Still just don't want to do it. DK/worsted would be my name. Or I do love just taking from older yarn brands and just being Debbie Bliss. Or Deborah Bliss or
Deborah
something.
Bliss.
Yeah.
Well,
What would yours be?
one time was talking to Kay, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a fat drag king. It would be hard not to be a fat anything. But I want to be a fat drag king, and I want my name to be PAPI CHURRO.
Oh my god. Now I want churro. Happy churro.
That's funny.
That's good.
I
That's
thought
really
that was funny. So that would be my drag name, I think.
If we're using yarn drag names, Manny Uruguay.
Manny
Uruguay. Manny de Uruguay. Manny
de Uruguay. And then that would
Uruguay.
be kind of funny because like manos and hands, and then you're like knitting and
Old Lady Pico.
Old Lady Pico is
Old Lady Pico.
very funny.
That's a really funny, like,
Yes.
Dame Edna style, like, dresses as Elizabeth Zimmerman. Inspired by Elizabeth Zimmerman.
Oh my god.
So stupid.
Yeah. Also, this is the other thing I want you to comment is your drag name. Your knitting drag name or just drag name that you have come up with. I want to hear.
Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments.
I love a good pun.
I love a good drag name.
Puns.
See, here's the thing. Mckenzie is more of a musical theater queen than she likes to admit.
That wasn't a good representation of my skills.
Listen, I know your skills. I know your skills well. You said, you smell like a sewer.
You smell like a sewer. That was so dumb.
It was really funny though. It was fun.
Very funny.
It was a good time.
Our server at Applebee's, like we left the podcast recording to go to Applebee's, which we talked about, and our server's name was Creed. And I told my mom that, and she went, well, you know what his parents were listening to. And I was like, Mother!
And I went, la 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 la.
And I was like, I don't know if you mean...
With arms wide open, dome. I'll call him Creed. Wow. He was the right age, too, for that.
I know,
He was
for
definitely
real.
conceived around Creed time.
And we were like kind of rural, like...
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
a jokester.
Yeah, he was very...
He played along.
Yeah.
At one point, I think he was just like, okay, you gotta cut it out. Like, absolutely
He was
not.
like, all right.
I'm not doing that. Well, I don't know what else to...
I don't know what else to talk about.
What do we have coming up? Sheep camp. We have a sheep camp knit-along still going on.
We did ask on Instagram who you thought was further along on the sheep camp.
Who have you not seen knitting a sheep camp on the pod yet?
I don't think I've knit the sheep camp on the pod, except for our live stream.
Yeah, that's true.
But I am further along.
You are. You absolutely are.
So our next meetup is Wednesday, August 21st from 6 to 8 at Starlight Knitting Society during Knit
During
Night.
Knit Night.
We have one coming up, but by the time this episode is out, it will have already passed.
And that will also be at Starlight. But
Yes.
Again, podcast.
And we do now have a Sibling Energy specific Instagram account. So if you're not following there for updates, events, live streams, do that now. It is just at Sibling Energy Pod. Yeah, we will be at Flock, not as Sibling Energy, but as our own entities.
We will still have the Sibling Energy.
Yes, we will. And if you see either of us at Flock, say hello and we will hand you a sticker while supplies last.
While supplies last.
And that's kind of the housekeeping.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
It's really hot, and all I want is tacos now.
Me too. Should we go get tacos and watch Love Island?
Sure.
Tacos and Love Island. Except we have to leave the house.
Can we order tacos?
We could order tacos.
Have them delivered here?
Or burritos? Tacos or burritos?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the move.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Oh, you want to be right next to me, huh?
Maple, it's 100
So the
degrees
thing
outside.
is that you're really warm. You're a very good puppy, but also... Oh, okay. Well...
She's like, Uncle Tim.
Oh, be the puppy.
Uncle
Be
Tim.
the puppy.
Maple, I think you have to get down.
Give me a
Off,
go.
please. Off.
Off.
She's like, why?
Hey, you guys.
Oh.
I can sit there. Sit there. I know. I'm so sorry. Those eyes.
Ugh.